Okay, so here are some examples for how to use line to create value. So this is a value scale, goes from lightest to darkest. I have this worksheet on your module if you would like to practice. It is completely optional. You do not need to fill it out unless you want to. But this is helpful for you when we are creating value in our final drawing to see how you can show value, i.e. something that is light or dark, using only lines, using only your pencil, right? So some examples are blending. So that's just like holding your pencil like this. You wanna, for all of these, I would recommend using a wooden pencil. If you only have mechanical pencils, you may use that, but I would prefer for you to use a wooden pencil because it just has a different effect, especially for this one for blending. So you can see, based on the pressure of my hand, I am blending my values darker and darker. So how you make something dark can either be how close the lines are together or how hard you press with your pencil. Right, you can see I'm pressing really, really, really hard right now. I hope the camera isn't shaking, but that is making the darkest value. And this one is almost white, and this one is really dark. The next one is hatching, and I'm just going to show you like the middle one here and the other one here to show you kind of a range. So hatching is just lines, and based on how far apart you put them together, it can create value, right? If we have an area that's kind of darker. I love to use hatching for mountains and trees and things like that. Cross hatching is basically the same thing, but you're going to make kind of a grid. So based on how hard you press, how many lines you have, and how far apart those lines are, that's kind of how you're going to create value. See how this is so much darker than that one. Stippling is my least favorite. I would not recommend doing it with a pencil or on your final drawing, but I'm going to show you how to do it anyway. This is done by creating a ton of little tiny dots to add value. It takes forever. There's stippling. I'll show you a better example of that in a moment. Zigzag is just like this kind of pattern here, and again, based on how far apart they are, that can add value because now my lines are really close together, and maybe I'm layering it too. So now I have this kind of cool texture. And the square is much darker. And scribbling is my personal favorite. Here's a scribble. It's kind of fun to let loose and feel free and just scribble around. I think that's kind of my favorite one. And look, just by using scribbles, I've made a dark square. So here is my finished line and value drawing. You can see how all of these are so much darker than these here, right? So we can use lines or our pencils to create value. So in your drawing, I would like you to use lines and use at least 2 of these techniques. So you don't need to fill out this worksheet unless you want to, but I still want you to create, to use at least 2 of these techniques in your final drawing. So here's my final drawing, and I have scribbles over here, and I also have hatching up in my mountain, and some zigzags in my trees, and some blending as well in the mountains and in the sky, and cross hatching right here. So I used a lot of them. So I want you to try and use at least 2.